Welcome back to another edition of HBCU Hour, Episode 3, Make It Last Forever. Good evening, everybody. We got Miss Love back with us tonight. We got Mr. Petty Murphy, and we got Daniel D. Williams. He's popping in and out, but we got him with us tonight. First of all, good evening, everybody. How is everyone this evening?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hey, let's get into it. So first thing, spring games have been going on across all HBCUs. We've posted dates and stuff. We got a bunch coming up this weekend, including Jackson State being the first HBCU to be televised by ESPN. They will be on the 24th. Alabama State is Saturday, and of course there are a few others. But one thing that has been a trend going on in HBCUs is spring game attendance has been up. And that doesn't just stop at spring games. Looks like attendance for the regular season itself has been up. Thoughts?
You said thoughts?
Yes. Tell me your thoughts.
As far as the spring game, it's not just attendance, right? It's just engagement, period. And I just feel like we had a whole debate, y'all. A whole debate about who started the whole trend and da-da-da-da. And, people that's been around Fleck for a long time, we know ain't nobody really just been, fooling with the spring game, except for just like the faithful few, And this year, everybody is just having just amazing events across the board. I mean, they got they advertising and marketing together. I mean, it's just been a beautiful thing. Most of the schools who had games, they were live streamed or whatever. Ours was on HBCU League Pass. Some of them did it on Facebook. But the thing what I'm really trying to say is that there was a demand to see what was going on with our spring game. So that is that's the first time ever. And to me, what actually started that was when Hugh Jackson was on the pivot and he was like, I'm gonna challenge y'all to come to the spring game. And it was just like, then after that, it just took off. Because then we had signing day and just the internet was crazy. See, we forget about how crazy signing day was. But it was all over the place. And then, spring games started rolling out. And you could tell, the fans was like, okay, y'all, how can I watch the game? And the people that didn't have their stuff, together, because it was they kind of did get called out on it. So, we all making each other better,
Yeah. And before you go, Ant, I just want to bring up League Pass. What Ms. Love already mentioned. We talked about it in the first two HBCU Hour episodes. League Pass is used to watch games. They have different things about each school. So it's not just the spring games. It's going to be very valuable for anyone who wants to immerse themselves in the HBCU experience. Go ahead, Ant.
For your content. That's the thing about it is that, you've been sleeping on that. You talk about the SEC network and all this stuff. There's no one particular place that we can come and say, okay, I'm going to watch a Grambling game. I'm going to watch a Southern game. I'm going to watch this and that. So that's what they're building,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back to the spring games. I think what she just mentioned, the content, I think that's really the main thing that came out of the spring games. Yeah, the attendance was, that's never anything not to be proud of. You know what I mean? But whenever you see the pivot at Grambling spring game, when you see all the the exposure that these spring games are getting on social media and with HBCU League Pass. I think that's really where the HBCUs are making strides because that's how you sell your school to the recruits. That's how you sell your school to fans. Is you got to have the exposure out there, and that's how you get people excited for a spring game is by having that exposure out there for them to see the program from the inside. So I think that these schools are doing a good job of getting people excited for their programs and for the upcoming season by giving them that inside look, giving them that content, giving them the exposure, so they can feel like they are a part of the program.
Yeah.
All
And
right. So
that's important. We got to bring. We only got so many HBCU grades, right? And that's another debate for another day. But we got to be
I think we're gonna get to we're gonna get to that next. But
Yeah,
what
please hold on before we get to that. Please hold
okay.
on.
One thing that, and I mentioned that is not just the spring games, regular season attendance. So looking at the numbers in 2019, Jackson State had an average of 33,000 fans. In 21, that number is up to 42,000. Southern was at 17,000 in 19. That number is up to 19,000. FAMU 16.5 in 19. That is up to 17K. In 21, Alabama A&M went from 8.8K in 2019 to 10K in 2021. And Mississippi Valley State University was at 4.4K in 19, and that went up to 5.4K in 21. So attendance is up, but it's not necessarily up for everyone. North Carolina A&T actually saw their attendance drop, but North Carolina A&T also left the MEAC.
Bingo, bingo.
uh, Pooh Bear, you're not supposed to say that out loud now.
Hey,
My
listen,
Aggie friends, they are gonna be over me if they probably in my inbox right now.
yeah, they and speaking of the MEAC, Howard has decided to leave the MEAC, and they are going to follow in the footsteps of Hampton and North Carolina A&T, and they're going to the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Association. This means that the MEAC right now at this moment is down to only 5 teams and could possibly have to dissolve. I think by regulations, D1 conference, you have to have 6 teams. Um, so at this moment, the options are pick up another school, um, drop to FCS, or
So drop the beat.
dissolve. And the fallout from this. Let's get there. Let's go there first before we start talking about something. The fallout from this. One thing I think, Ant, you may have mentioned it. If this happens and the MEAC dissolves, that means the SWAC is the only all HBCU conference in D1.
Yep.
Hey, and since you on that note, let me throw this proponent out there to y'all. We
Okay.
talk about how HBCUs are trendsetters, right?
Mhm.
Well, we all know with the conference realignment and FBS football, the P5s, that there's been talk of going to just 4 major conferences, and
Mhm.
and going away from like just the 14 model team, going to like 20 teams in the conference. Why shouldn't the SWAC take all 5 members and bring them into the SWAC and make a HBCU super conference?
You said why shouldn't they?
Yeah. Do you
Um,
think it's a good idea?
The only issue I would see with that is logistically, the travel costs, because those teams in the MEAC are a little bit further north. That's the only thing I would see. I personally like the idea.
but if you break it down into 4 pods, right? Because we got swag east,
That's
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
swag
There you go.
That's
north,
true.
and south.
Mm-hmm.
And I think somebody even mentioned. I know this is a dirty word to say in this context. Tennessee State, also, and that will put us back at an even number of teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would like to see if there is a comprehensive plan to make that work. Right now, it's really just an idea. I'm all for growth. And, hopefully, whatever happens, um, we can just continue on the trajectory that we're on, building up on the schools. I think that they said that Savannah State was in the MEAC and they dropped it down to D2. So I mean, it's a lot of different scenarios. I would, as far as Howard goes, I need to see the numbers. I mean, just like you said with A&T, the attendance was down, so that means
Mhm.
that they made even less money. They may have saved. I think one of the reasons why they said they switched was to save money. Well, you may have saved money, but you also lost money. So, like, what does that look like? Um, I'm not sure. So,
Right,
I mean,
right.
they not really. I mean, you can find out different kind of information about what's in the athletic foundation and like you said, the attendance and stuff like that. But I think that they are under the impression that, and this is just not specific to A&T, but it's like, how are you going to do more with less,
Mm.
right? If you look at the athletic budgets of some of the teams that are in the CAA, they don't even come close. And so that's why I posed the question about, okay, well, if Howard finished so low in the MEAC, how do you even expect to compete in the CAA? And you haven't even started the process of investing in your athletic facilities, and you're trying to get over a cultural hump at the school, which puts academic first before athletic.
Well, let me ask you this, Miss Love. Do you think that they're looking at it like this? By joining the CAA, they'll get more money from that conference than they would the MEAC. So then they'll by that, since they'll be getting more money, they'll have more money to put into those facilities and stuff like that.
More money from where?
I mean, from the conference.
Have you looked to see? Because these athletic associations, they are nonprofit. So what I would say is, look and see what they look like fiscally, and just let me know. And then you got to think about it too. If there is some kind of revenue sharing plan that they have with adding two more schools, then that's even a smaller piece of the
Yeah,
pie.
yeah,
Mm.
that's true. That's
So
true.
I can't remember who it is that does their media over there, but I haven't seen anything that just jumps out at me. It's almost like they're not coming to the table with their part, but then they're trying to get what's already been built at the CAA. And I don't know, without a significant investment from them on their side, how that's going to work and how they can, just even be competitive at all. I just need to see the numbers. Like, it's not there for me yet.
Um, and I think Ms. Love, you may have mentioned it on Twitter because I know when this story kind of came out, you were kind of hot and heavy with it. Um, CAA, some of the members in that conference aren't getting paid equally now as it is.
Hmm.
So, and when I
Interesting.
say some of the members, let's put it out there, the HBCUs that came over aren't necessarily getting the same amount of revenue as the schools that were previously there prior to the merger. Um, so that's something else to think about. I mean, and it goes to the conversation that we kind of already had about um, should should the SWACs or any of these HBCU conferences or teams join a larger conference. I know necessarily CAA doesn't seem like a larger conference, but it kind of goes to that thought process of, hey, if you join, maybe TV revenue and stuff will come around. Um, but it doesn't look like that's practically happening right now.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen the TV deal, or
Mhm.
I y'all know only post stuff I can verify, right?
Right.
So, if y'all find it, let me know so that can bring more light and clarity to what's going on, because I haven't seen it.
Another option that was put out there is possible replacements for Howard, bringing some more teams in. One team that was mentioned was Chicago State. And, and some people said, well, hey, Chicago State's a HBCU. And then I heard a term that I thought I'd never hear. Chicago State's not a HBCU. They're a PBI, a predominantly black institution. So I thought I'd never hear that term, but there is a difference because I know some people don't necessarily realize that, but there is a difference because I think that the designation for HBCU, and I have to look it up, but unless one of you guys know offhand, I think that you have to be like established before a certain time period. I know like Mega Everest College in New York it's a predominantly black institution, but it's not an HBCU. So, gotcha. And I think that's,
Man, so they get a little bougie with the terms, huh?
Yeah, it's here it is. It's it had to be established prior to 1965. Yeah, I'm sorry, prior to 1964.
Prior to integration.
Pretty much, yeah. So
basically, if you didn't go through the struggle, you can't get in.
Pretty much. That's funny. But we do have other news. Alabama State got 2 big commitments from players that were currently at Power 5 schools. Demetrius Davis, he's a quarterback. He's transferring from Auburn. He's actually thought to be the successor of Bo Nix, but he's transferring from Auburn to go to Alabama State. But Alabama State wasn't done. I'm gonna mess this name up, but Jayon McCluster, he's a linebacker. He's transferring from Florida State, also going to Alabama State. This is something we talked about episode 1 of the Golden Boot. Building your base or building your team with the transfer portal, especially at HBCUs. So,
and I'll be honest, y'all. I've been trying to. There's a reason why I've been really, really sharing the Alabama State, because I'm trying to get these other select schools to really see what's going on. They got their NIL stuff together. Now they can say what they want to say, right? But at the end of the day, if you appear to transfer portal, depending on what really went on while you was there, did you get playing time or whatever? Because a lot of times our 4 and 5 stars out of their first year, they really don't get to play a lot, and these kids have kind of gotten in their mode to where like, okay, no, I'm not finna sit on the bench for a year, and so now HBCUs have kind of just stepped in to where they can fill in their gap, so those kids can continue to develop and not basically be redshirted the whole year. And then if you got your, like I say, your NIL together, you gonna be able to recruit whoever you want, right? It's not gonna be, a hard sell for you, because you going all the way from Houston, then you going to Auburn, then you going to Alabama State. Just think about that. Just even the transition that is. But they got it going on over there, and the SWAC East gonna be something. Is, to me, I would say, hey. It's not going to be an easy win over there on either side, really. But just looking at the talent that those schools done brought in.
So I'm gonna pose this question. I think we posed it before. Does the transfer portal help level the playing field for HBCUs?
Yeah,
I think it does.
If they utilize it correctly.
JUCO, y'all, man, we got so many JUCO kids. I ain't never seen nothing like it. And I don't think we really talking about, and we talking about the top JUCOs, not just, some unknown college. We talking about the first team this and all American that and all of that kind of stuff. Look, again, Alabama State. Ain't nobody talked about Myron Green in a minute. Go look him up. He a dog.
So And it's funny because when we get to kind of at the end, the whole thought or the conversation about the transfer portal is going to come back up again.
Okay.
So, but I agree. I definitely think that is helping to level the playing field. Because if you look at the rosters of Grambling, Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Southern, Jackson State. All you see
Campbell.
is all you're seeing is players that are transferring from P5 schools, SEC schools, at that, and now they're starting on these and so you can't even look at it as a inferior competition anymore, because if this guy was just going up against top level talent in the SEC, but he wasn't getting enough playing time, so now he's going against top level talent from the SEC at HBCU. So at this point, it's starting to be no more excuses.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look at I would say Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, he was at Alabama. Couldn't get on the field. Went to Tennessee, did pretty good at Tennessee, but whenever he made it to the NFL, he got the opportunity.
Pretty good.
You say what?
You said pretty good at Tennessee. He was phenomenal.
I mean, he wasn't like a household name.
Well,
it's because he was in Tennessee, but
that is true. That is true. But I mean,
that's why I say, y'all. And then you gotta think about this too. A lot of 3 stars, they want to come too to HBCUs.
Right.
It's true.
Because I mean, what's also happening is some of them are actually having to go to JUCO and go that route.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a rat race right now.
Yeah,
stay on that D1 level.
Yeah, them 3 stars too. Normally was like we talked about on the first episode. Them 3 stars that's normally going to the Louisiana Techs and schools like that. But those schools are getting transfers. You know what I mean? So maybe they don't have a spot. But now, like Ms. Love said, instead of going to JUCO or instead of going to a ULM or a school like that, I'll go to Grambling. I'll go to a HBCU. And so the HBCUs are, they benefit in both ways from the transfer portal.
Right.
Okay. Moving on, sticking with Alabama State though. Alabama State, as we know, lost a basketball coach when Mo Williams went to Jackson State. So they did what anyone would do. They stole a basketball coach from another HBCU, and they went and hired Tony Madlock from South Carolina State. He's a Memphis native. He has been an assistant at Arkansas State, UTEP, Auburn, Ole Miss, Memphis, and he spent last year again, as we stated, at South Carolina State. He also, I think he was assistant under Coach Kennedy, who's now at UAB. When Coach Kennedy was at Ole Miss, and I think when Coach Kennedy was fired, Coach Matlock had to step in and as interim. So congratulations to him as the new basketball coach at Alabama State. I know
they
when
got
I was
facilities over there, y'all.
They're starting to build up. Yeah, they're starting to build. It's funny because when I was coming up and I was in school, it was Coach Jackson was at Alabama State. It was I think he was coaching the boys team and his wife was coaching the women's. But yeah, Alabama State is definitely on the come up.
Yeah.
Not only that, Alabama State is not the only team to hire a new coach. Alabama A&M hired Coach Otis Hewley Jr.
Otis.
This one's kind of personal to me. Coach Hewley actually used to coach at my high school alma mater, LaFleur High School in Mobile from 2004 to 2010. He was actually the coach. He started his coaching career at Wallace Community College in Selma. He coached there from 93 to 97. He coached actually the boys and women, the men's and women's team, not at the same time, of course. But the combined record for both teams was 135 and 46 over that time frame.
Oh
That's
wow.
pretty
Wow.
impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, at LaFleur, he coached from 2004 to 2010, as I mentioned. He went to 6 state Final Fours, won the championship in 2007, and he's credited with developing DeMarcus Cousins. Some of his other coaching stops include Wright State, Liberty, Southern, Auburn, and he was also the coach of the Nigerian women's national team.
Wow.
And he led them to Afro Basket Championships in 2017, 2019, and 2021.
Wow.
Well, he's definitely
That's a resume
well
for you right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So one thing about Coach Hewley and I say those personal because again he coached at my alma mater. But one thing about him that really resonated with me. He would hold camps and invite different colleges, but he didn't hold camps for just his players. He would invite players from all across the city to come, and he helped get several players that weren't even his own, help get them into college. So
That's dope. That's
his
dope.
his character is far exceeds anything, and I truly appreciate him.
well, it seemed like they're really excited about it. I mean, they got a lot of good things going on over there. I tip my hat to them. That's my favorite Swag East team. It's not FAMU.
All right. What's up, Roger? How you doing this evening? Dylan, I saw you too, man. Something else.
Yeah, hey guys, please like and I don't mean to interrupt, Pooh, but please like and share in the chat. Leave some comments. Let us know you're here.
Yeah.
If you want to comment on how much grease Ant has in his hair, do that. Leave a comment.
All right. So sticking in basketball, Jackson State, Miss Amisha Williams Holiday is the first women's basketball player from Jackson State to be drafted in the WNBA. And she is the first HBCU draftee in the last 20 years. She was drafted by the Indiana Fever. Congratulations to her. Coach Reed, that's another notch on her belt.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I didn't necessarily fully agree, and we talked about this with what Coach Moken said, but hey, pay that woman.
Definitely.
Pay her.
She's gonna be able to get any player she really wants.
All right.
March Madness gonna look a lot different next year, if you ask me. It's gonna have the season into it.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be interesting anyway with Shalomi Sanders, joining that roster. So
she officially signed too, if I'm not mistaken.
And I keep telling y'all everything I've heard about her, because when I first heard hear, Deion Sanders' daughter going to Jackson State, you're like, oh, okay, she's going there because of that. But then when you actually everything I've heard about her, like her skill set, I'm looking forward to seeing, what she can do. Yeah. So now this one, this is one of Daniel kind of stories. And Miss Love, I don't, talk about it. Grambling volleyball team. Some time has passed. Yeah, some time has passed. But they hired a new coach, Coach Chelsea Lucas. And the big story is that no players are returning.
They got kicked off.
The problem is there are two. So and that's kind of what we're going to get to. There are two separate narratives here. There's a narrative that she cut everyone and said she was going to bring in her own players, and then there's a narrative that some just quit. They didn't want to play for her because she came from what was that
UAPB,
Arkansas Pine Bluff, and it supposedly is bad blood between Pine Bluff and Arkansas Pine Bluff and Grambling. So it's the one thing that stood out to me when this story first came out is something you said, Miss Love, when we talked about the Art Brown situation. Grambling is not putting out a unified story.
Mhm. Which
And
was much different this time. Yeah, I noticed it was so I feel like they kind of learned like you have to, get ahead of the story. The AD came out and said basically, hey, I don't make uh, decisions on who stay on the team and who go, which I mean, that's fair. Um, I always feel like because they are students and we are in charge of, preparing them and being their mentors. I wish, and this may still happen, just like I told Florida A&M last night, we got to start coming to the table when we have issues. We can't just keep being in our silos and everybody running with their story, and we never have any kind of resolution. That's my only thing about that. I would have liked to see like a more, hey, we're having a meeting on this day so we can discuss what actually happened and try to find a way to move forward. Because I heard the girls were pretty smart academically. The girls had good GPAs and stuff. So was there, a way that we can still at least try to take care of those that are very close to graduation? Can we, as alumni, and I did bring this up in a alumni group, and I kind of got some backlash for it, and that's okay. I understand my mind is, I think this. I said, well, at the end of the day, they're still grand fam. They still want to graduate. I think as alumni, in this way, we don't have to involve the school, and we don't have to take a position on whether we agree with it or not. We're just saying, hey, as alumni, we're going to help you graduate. Whatever, let's cushion you. And then that way, the school doesn't even have to take a position one way or another. We can dead it. And whoever would have actually done that was going to come out looking like a hero. And that's what I was trying to get them to understand. Like that would have changed the public opinion immediately about how they looked at how Gremlin handled the situation. But I understand that's kind of outside of the frame of people's thought processes. So
Well,
you know,
it sounds like Gremlin maybe need to put you over the PR department, or you can give him
well,
some lessons.
Yeah.
I just you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Definition of
Right.
insanity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Daniel. Right now, we have the spotlight on our institutions.
Hmm.
And I think of it in a larger scale than, the situation that's going on at the time. So I was just in my head, I was like, well, if the president came out and said, hey, let's sit down and have a meeting, that would have went viral. And everybody would have been talking about how he handled the situation and came to a resolution and da 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 da. But I can't speak for nobody else and their thought processes and how they should handle it. I just wanted to see the girls still graduate and in a way that let the public know that Grambling still does care for their students.
Well,
Public perception matters.
let me ask you this too. I mean, so did the girls in fact throw like a fit? Was it really that?
I'm not sure as far as in it. I've seen the same stuff on social media that y'all seen.
Hmm.
Now, who is behind the page? I guess is as good as mine. But um, so I'm not sure about like the things I read about practice and all that because we still haven't heard from Coach Lucas. So
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
in the actual, I don't even think we heard from all the girls.
No, not all of them, but I know a couple of them like made written statements and stuff like that. And I think it's the old saying, there's three sides to every story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? And so I think that's one of these situations. I think it's the truth is somewhere in between what we've been hearing from both sides. I don't think Coach Lucas came. And this is just my opinion. I don't think she came in with the whole scorched earth mentality and was just trying to cut every player. but I also don't think that those players gave her a true chance as their coach. You know what I mean? So I think there's somewhere in the middle, and some players didn't want to be there, and she had an idea of what she wanted for her program, and if you weren't buying into what she was trying to do, then she was gonna find some players who will. And so I think I kind of agree with what the AD said. Just like the players have a right, to transfer and do what they want to do what's best for them. The coach has that same right to do what she thinks is best for the program. And we as fans, we can't be, happy that the players had the freedom of movement and we're getting all these, transfers in football and stuff like that, and then have a problem when the coach wants to go bring in transfers who they think help the program. So you got to let the coach do what they feel is best.
Right. I I think you can almost kind of, it's not similar situations, but let's say for instance the LSU basketball situation. For the most part, most of, not all of their players besides three transferred out. I just think if you get out in front of it, kind of like what you guys are saying, that's a different way that you can spin it.
Yeah.
To where it kind of works in your favor, and it just looks different than all you girls quitting.
Yeah.
And come on, I mean, let's be real. How many programs sign rival coaches and this doesn't happen?
Well,
You
I
know,
will say this though. I will say this. She has coached at more than just UAPB. She was also at Alcorn. You know what I
right,
mean? So she has a track record in the SWAC. So it's not like they just hired some random coach and she came in and wanted to do things her own way. You know what I mean? Like
right,
if the athletic department felt like she was the best coach for the job, then the alumni and she's also a Graham fam. She played at Gremlins. You know what I mean? So Graham fam should just support her and support the program. Like all the people who are outraged and about what she supposedly did. How many volleyball games are they going to attend next season? You know what I mean? How much money they going to try to help the program by going to those games? Like
that's
if
right.
you're gonna be outraged, support.
Put your money where your mouth is, or where
Hey,
your fingers at.
That's what I
hey,
was gonna say. Has anybody, all these news media outlets, they ran with the story,
mhm.
but is anybody saying, "Hey, I'm gonna help get you. I'm gonna help you graduate. I'm gonna help you get some scholarship money. I'm gonna do a fundraise. I'm
Mhm.
gonna do a GoFundMe." Y'all got likes, clicks, shares, and subscriptions off of this story, but the girls still, there's still a need. And that's why I said at the end of the day, I think that we should have everybody that was outraged. If you thought it was wrong, then y'all should have tried to help the girls.
And
That's
then
what
I think another thing, my bad, Pooh, but another thing, I think before the story was ran, there was no outrage. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's one of them things where it's selective outrage from based off what the media put out there. Like I don't know how many people know this, but Grambling don't have a women's soccer coach right now. They had to cancel the spring season because they don't have a women's soccer coach, and they might have to cancel the fall season if they don't find one before the fall season. Where's the outrage in that? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like because that's not being put out by the media. There's not a lot of outrage by fans and or from other SWAC schools and mainstream media. It's not being ran with, so there's no outrage. But the minute that somebody runs a story about them having to cancel the season, there'll be a whole bunch of people coming out saying how you can't do stuff like that and all that. So I mean, it's one of them things where people just want to find something to be upset about, I think.
well, if they were
So
smart, they would have monetized it. They had their moment, and they
Yeah.
should have said, "Look, I need you to. I need to graduate. You want the scoop on this story? You're
Yeah,
gonna
here
have
go
to
my
pay."
and NIL legal now. So look, here go my GoFundMe. You know what I mean? Crowdfund me. You know what I mean? Like help me graduate.
hey,
Well,
so two things. This kind of it's funny how we look at it, from this standpoint when it's Grambling volleyball team, but nobody said anything when Brian Kelly came in, and if you were late, you were off the team.
yeah,
Selective,
Nobody said a
selective
word.
outrage, bro. Selective outrage, bro.
And also something that a lot of people don't realize: scholarships aren't a 4-year deal; They are
Yeah.
year to year. So
They're not guaranteed neither.
they are not guaranteed. So you can be out of there and be done, you know,
And see,
if you
and
don't.
and that's what I was about to say. Okay, yeah, you want to quit, but how you gonna pay for school? You get what I'm saying? Like the most important thing, the reason why you're going to college and you're playing a sport is to get an education and hopefully do something with that free education that you're getting. You know what I'm saying? So you can be mad that your coach was fired or your another coach came in from another, or you have disagreements, but don't forget what the main goal is. The main goal is for you to get education. You know what I'm saying? And not only education, a free education.
Why not
You know,
just transfer like we've been talking about?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
transfer.
Like just stick it out for the rest of the semester and transfer.
Yeah.
Lord, this the pen is coming out right here.
All right, so we kind of beat that horse, but let's bring it back. Something that's a positive that's going on. There is a historic football game on the horizon. Tennessee State is scheduled to play Notre Dame in 2023. If I'm not mistaken, that's actually supposed to take place in Nashville. I have to double check that. But you know, Tennessee State is one of those HBCUs that's kind of it's not regarded the same because they're not in a traditional HBCU conference. They're actually in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Is this one of those situations where they didn't go through the struggle? Like we were talking
No,
about earlier?
No. They HBCU. They HBCU.
No. They actually it's a little bit, and we kind of mentioned it. The reason why it's kind of the reason why Tennessee State is not in a traditional HBCU conference is because it's kind of out of spite. Tennessee proper in Knoxville came into Nashville and tried to open up a campus and then tried to absorb Tennessee State. Tennessee State fought it legally and ended up winning and actually absorbing that campus based off of
Land grant
their land grant status and stuff like that, and also claiming I forget the term, but they basically, said that, it was a racial discrimination, what Tennessee was doing. So in kind of retaliation, Tennessee was kind of to the point of, well, hey, this is racial discrimination. You're only playing other black schools. And so they ended up in the Ohio Valley Conference, to say, well, that if that's their only stipulation, that's fine. So, but, every year Tennessee State does play 2 or 3 HBCUs. But that's kind of the story behind that. But kudos to them.
They getting paid $1 million by Notre Dame to play that game, and while yeah, it's historic, and you know what I mean, it's the first FCS school Notre Dame has ever played or something like that. You know what I mean, but it kind of go against everything Deion said earlier this year about how he trying to get away from the money games. You know what I mean? Because your players play one of the money games, they get hurt, and then they ain't playing for the rest of the season. So
or the rest of their life.
Yeah, true. Like when Southern played Georgia.
Right.
But I do see the positive. You know what I mean? You getting $1 million for your athletic department for your program, and you getting exposure. Playing against Notre Dame and stuff like that. But at the same time, I see the other side of it, like Deion saying, and I'll be glad when HBCUs get to the point where they don't have to play money games. You know what I'm saying? To get that $1 million in funding,
But
they
you have
already
to.
got the money. You don't have to.
Right
You
now,
don't
you
have
have
to.
to.
Yeah, I'm saying right now you do, but that's
Yeah,
why I'm saying I'm ready
it's
for them to get to
necessary.
the point where they don't have, like Jackson State don't have to. You know what I mean? They got enough exposure and enough eyes on their program, and they got enough boosters and donors, sending money to their program, but they don't have to play that game.
No,
You know
you're
what I
right.
mean?
Is
But every HBCU isn't at that level though, and
You're right.
that's where like Miss Love saying that's what she trying to get the NIL collect. You know what I'm saying? When you start having the exposure to TV deals, when you start getting stuff like that, you don't have to play money games.
Right.
is it necessary? Dan, you say it's necessary. Is it necessary?
Yes, it is necessary. If you're trying to support a program and we all know for the most part in the South, your football program is the doorstep to your university, right? 9 out of 10 is going to be your biggest money maker.
Please
And
louder, Daniel. Louder, please.
well, yeah. So in this situation, yes, you want to go out and you want to play this game. You know what I'm saying?
You want to, but do you have to? That's the question. Do you have to? Because
it depends on the budget of Tennessee State.
Last year Tennessee State played Jackson State. You know what I mean? Just like I feel like you might not make $1 million off that game, but you play a big time game against Jackson State, against North Carolina A&T or somebody like that. You can make money, bro. You just
let's not forget this.
This goes back to something else though.
It's a business.
It is a business, and the reason why that Tennessee State Jackson State game didn't make money is because the promoter made the money off that game, not the schools. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, and I'm glad. And thank you for saying that, because I'm about to throw this out. Because we joke off mic about what's the bigger classic, Magic City or Bayou Classic. But let me tell you this:
close. It's not close though. It's the Bayou Classic.
You're right. It's not close, Magic City. But listen,
I'm gonna be the equalizer on this too, and I'm gonna let you go.
All right.
Bigger in terms of what?
Which one been nationally televised for 30 years?
Hold on, wait. You're right. Which one? So, because listen, we weren't gonna have this debate tonight, but you're right. You
affect us like that, dog.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. You're absolutely right. Which one has been nationally televised, but which one ain't been on TV, but everybody know about it?
See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all gotta start looking at stuff beyond face value. I'm
just saying. So
I feel that.
But
I feel that. But let me ask you this: Do you think more people in Louisiana know about the Magic City Classic, or more people in Alabama know about the Bayou Classic?
Probably more people know about the Bayou because of
that's my
television.
Point. So my point is, like, y'all, why people know about it? Y'all ain't reaching the people y'all could because y'all don't have the exposure.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Though. So, Pooh Bear, is that game televised? It's not televised.
It is. They do televise it. It's usually on. They'll put it on BET, or they'll put it on ESPN, or they'll put it on a replay or something. Or it'll be on one of the ESPN channels. And
basically, who's making the most money out of this classic?
Well, this is what I was getting to.
The Bayou Classic.
If the Bayou Classic, that's the better bowl game. If the Bayou Classic is making more, that's
so let me get to the point I was trying to make. So Magic City. I know every year that they have it, Birmingham as a city makes upward of $33 million.
Dang.
So when we're saying, and you were talking about, is it necessary to play, for Alabama State to play Auburn, for instance, and make that $1 million game? When you have a Magic City Classic, why is that not helping fund your athletic program? Or I'm gonna give you another one. This year coming up, Jackson State and Alabama A&M are playing in Mobile in the Gulf Coast Classic, and I guarantee you, it's going to similar 25 to 30 to 40 million is going to be made. Ms. Love, go ahead.
I want to get in on that. Go ahead.
Y'all getting way too deep there. Just go to the game, have fun, cheer your team on. Don't be looking at who creeping out the back door with the money. Okay? Don't worry.
That's been a problem.
No.
You on TV, ain't you? So why you complaining? They played the game. They played the band at halftime. Don't it look nice in here? Ain't we in the dome? Oh, we got all these people here. We having a good old time. Don't be looking at the contract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We can't even talk. Listen, I love my grand fam, so I'm not even touching the Bayou Classic, okay?
Well, let me ask you this though. All right, Pooh, you mentioned how much money you said Birmingham make.
The Birmingham as a city. Yeah.
Right. So And I'm pretty sure New Orleans is the same way for the Bayou Classic. You know
I
what I mean?
completely agree.
All right,
Completely agree.
so how about this? How about instead of playing the Bayou Classic in the Superdome every year, how about we rotate it between Southern Campus and Grambling Campus, and
Boom.
we let these schools make some more of that money.
There you go.
I like it.
There you go.
They were the school. Yeah.
They'll say
I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of people who don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? They like that trip
Yeah.
to New Orleans every year and all of that. But you ain't gotta worry about renting out. You ain't gotta worry about renting out the Superdome. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta worry about all that ticket money. Don't gotta be split between the Superdome and the school. It goes straight to the schools.
And look at this, right? You get all those hotels that people book in New Orleans. You're booking it in Baton Rouge,
In Ruston,
right?
or
You're
Ruston.
booking it in
You know what I
Ruston.
mean? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
making
you know
money
what I
on
mean?
it.
or Montgomery
Yeah,
or Huntsville.
yeah, you know what I mean? And it's
Or
the community. You giving the money to the community that the school in, and not just the
Exactly.
biggest city in the area. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
New Orleans get plenty of money from tourist events. You know what I mean? They could be all right with losing one.
Or you negotiate a better contract, no matter where you
Well,
go.
you gotta.
That's true.
Well, that's true. But one way you can negotiate a better contract is by hey, look, if y'all don't give us a better deal, we'll just take these games back to our own school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You gotta give them something. You know what I mean?
Play Fair Classic in Dallas. Play Prairie View. Grand Prairie
Yeah.
View.
yeah, see that.
There you go, right there. That's the way to do it, bro. That's how you get money for your like we talking about the biggest two games on on Grambling schedule probably, or maybe Jackson State, but Southern and Prairie View. You know what I mean? Why we ain't playing these schools at the campus? You know what I mean? Like that's money you just giving away. The class you can keep the classic idea and this just be a classic on the campus. You know what I mean? You know,
It's it's a lot of layers to that.
Yeah,
It's on both sides of the argument, but
and
I would say
this comment is exactly what I was thinking. Shout out to Trey. What's up,
yeah,
Trey?
that's the only thing, bro.
Yeah,
But look, here it go back to this though. If these schools start getting money, they can start doing stadium renovations. They
That's
can
right.
start making these stadiums bigger, and they can
what's the
start holding more people.
what the man said? What they said in that movie? If you
If you
build it,
build it, they will come. There you
That's
go.
right.
well, I know who building and I know who ain't. So
Mm,
that's
mm.
Spill the beans.
the Twitter
But
feed.
but let me
Hold
tell
up.
you, part of the problem though is it's gonna be somebody that ain't happy with how the cookie is divided, bro. You know what I mean? They gonna
That's
feel
always
like
the case.
they slice of the pie ain't big enough. You know what I mean? So we are our biggest worst enemy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
But see,
Y'all see it?
go ahead.
I was gonna say y'all see it on my feed. I just try to be nice.
Well, and see
Mm.
I'm trying to
that's the
tell you how to help yourself.
well, see, that kind of go. Hey, Pooh, let's segue with this. You know what I mean? We are our own worst
Oh
enemy.
yeah, yeah.
So we are our own worst enemy. So whenever schools like FAMU and Grambling, whenever they see that they conference ain't looking out for the best interests of all the schools, so they take it upon themselves to go get a
get their
TV
own
deal.
deals.
You know what I mean? To give themselves the exposure that they feel like they need. Instead of other schools following that lead, y'all try to tear them down. Why? You know what I mean? Like why not see, oh, that's smart. They getting what they need. You know, they went and got it on their own. I can do that too. I don't gotta wait on the conference to find me a TV deal. I can get a TV deal on my own. You know what I
And,
mean? Like
and slow that down. A lot of people miss what you said. They ain't even catch it. So
I
you're
go ahead,
saying,
go ahead, go
so
ahead, go
no,
ahead.
no, no. I was just saying, slow it down. So you're telling me that FAMU and Grambling State have worked out TV deals exclusive to their schools?
Mm.
Correct,
Honestly,
correct.
Oh,
it's not necessarily TV, so I want to clarify that. It's
okay.
the HBC League pass.
Well, yeah. So there you go.
So because streaming is different, right? That's a whole
Yeah.
different section of
I'm
it.
sorry. You said what HBCU League Pass, which is a free app on your Apple or Google store that helps you get immersed in the HBCU experience. Listen, somebody gonna give us a sponsorship. I'm just
Oh
saying.
God,
I listen. There's
hit us
another.
up.
Yeah, our DMs open.
They open.
They
They stay
are.
open, and they always on demon time.
This guy.
That dude is hilarious.
This guy here.
But no, Ms. Love, could please continue. Tell us about this.
Oh, what was it, y'all? I
We're
got
talking about
The TV deal. What? It's
Yeah,
not a TV deal.
streaming
the
deal.
difference between streaming and the TV deal.
well. See, y'all have to separate the fact that the SWAC has their things, and then the individual member institutions of the SWAC has theirs. And I'm gonna make it real plain. Grambling is signed has a deal with Coke. Pepsi deals with SWAC. There's no conflict of interest there at all. So now it's like I've been reading. I'm like, well, why all of a sudden we trying to pretend like there's a conflict of interest when you have these other two entities that are getting deals on one side and deals on the other side? So I'm still trying to, like, I got the bylaws. If anybody want them, they got to be emailed. So from, and you got to think Grambling has an attorney as president. So
Say that again. Say that. Please say that again. Please say that again.
yeah, so just be just read for yourself and find out information for yourself. That's all I can really tell you. If you look at it, there are already schools in the SWAC that have that have networks and stuff like that. They're using a platform to stream their content, and it has not been a problem. So, and everybody want to argue about what regional, local, telecast, broadcast, and national.
So why is it a problem now?
Because we are our own biggest enemies.
Do you know who is actually behind HBCU League Pass?
Byron Allen.
Todd Brown is the CEO. And yeah, I'm gonna let y'all. It's on my page. It's all on my page.
No, explain it to us. What does that mean?
Well,
because some people ain't gonna go look at that. They
okay,
lazy.
Okay, real quick, y'all. It's coming up on an hour, and if you saw that too. Byron Allen has been making these companies. You know, he had the lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court.
Correct.
Settled with Comcast. Well, basically what he was saying is these advertisers are not spending money with Black-owned media. So now he's in a position to where he's forcing their hand that they have to do it. And that's where Urban Edge Network, HBCU League Pass, all of that comes because those are Black-owned media companies. So now able to generate revenue for the school, because everybody keeps asking, well, where is money coming from? That's where it's coming from.
Mr. Donald D.K. Kelly
They got to
asked.
start spending money with us.
He asked, didn't Southern just launch a streaming platform?
They have the Jaguar Sports Network.
Okay.
They have the what?
I watched the spring game on it. So I don't know.
You know something, I'll say this. The biggest problem I'm starting to see, these platforms are out there. I had never heard of the
Jaguar. I have no clue.
Well, that's what Ms. Love been saying both times she been on here. They gotta market themselves better, man.
Yeah.
They got the stuff. They just gotta let people know what they got.
Not only that, we have to go out and support it too once they start marketing.
100%, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta
100%.
You gotta see, we thought we used to have these dead periods. Now we don't have that. You gotta do every day. Every day you gotta be talking about, and it just so happens, scandal or not, we talk about HBCUs at least every week, which is great. Either way you look at it.
Yeah, but the thing about it, bro, is like with social media these days, there's never a reason for you not to have the word out there. There's too many ways for you to get the word out there. A simple tweet or a simple post, you know what I mean, and your alumni retweeted or shared or whatever the case, that can do more than any advertisement or commercial. You know what I mean? That could do more than any of that, bro.
Think about it, man. We got Grandma got 37. We got 37 alumni chapters. If we did just 10 people coordinated, everybody every day, you share something from the band, you share something from athletics, and you share
Yeah.
something from the school, and all it ever has to be the official school page. Do you know how far reaching that would be? Just
Listen,
10 pictures
Crazy.
each chapter. Now,
I learned the power of social media once we started really learned it when we started doing the podcast, and I would share something or say from the Golden Boot Twitter page, and all of a sudden I'll look up and we're at 300 retweets. I'm sorry, 300 likes. 15 retweets, and it's 15, 20, 30 comments, and it's like we're at this
Yeah.
wow. So yeah, it's I completely agree.
that's how
Um,
crazy, y'all. Let me before you move on, Pooh Bear.
no, okay.
Wow, but it's called social media currency. If ain't nobody watching the HBCU league pass, it's not going to be of any value in the
That's
digital
right.
Yep.
marketplace.
Preach.
So that's how you run that. Like you gotta stay on. Like you can't. There can't be a dead period this summer to where nobody's talking about none of this stuff.
You can't treat it like a side business. You
Boy,
understand?
boy,
You
Here's
can't
the
treat it
thing,
like a
say
side
though.
that
business.
again, bro. You better say that again.
Yeah.
If I don't know if y'all are in it, I done got a little excited. I don't know if y'all are in any black groups on Facebook, but they always got time to argue in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they go back and forth all day, talking about each other and each other's schools and all that. But why y'all can't get that same energy to promoting each other's schools and
That's
promoting
right.
your own school? You know what I mean?
Your
Like,
own school, at least.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Tweet today. Band,
yeah.
athletics, it come from the official school page. That's
Yeah.
it.
And
All
Literally.
right.
that take less than 30 seconds.
Hey,
All
but
right.
not only that, share us. Share us. You know what I'm saying? That way we can get
Yeah,
on these streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our
I
show
care.
can be on there. You
Hey,
feel me?
but no, like real talk though, not that's like I know you kind of joking, but real talk, like support the people who support HBCUs. You know what I mean? Like,
You know what's funny? I have been looking, and we were talking about HBCU groups and stuff, and trying to share. I have just literally just discovered 4 or 5 different HBCU podcasts that I had never even heard of.
mhm.
Until we start,
Swack,
HBCU. Then somebody say, hey,
swacking the fool.
Swacking a Fool, the one you were just on ONG,
Yeah,
and my man,
down
Down
south
South
football.
Football Podcast. They it's like,
Oh, I didn't even know about that one.
yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like, hey, check them out. They're
yeah,
good, and so it's like if again, saying put it out there, share. It's a TikTok that goes out, and that's it says, why your business ain't blew up? It said, why you ain't share my stuff?
hmm,
That's right.
Share our stuff,
yeah,
saying so.
That's
exactly,
right.
bro.
Hey, not only that, I'm gonna be real. Whenever because we do want to bring light to
Mhm.
HBCUs, and we do want to bring light to different programs, not just Grambling, not just Southern. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Other programs. So honestly, help us. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
and share this. You know what I'm saying? Because we
Yeah.
do want to get word out, and we do want to make sure these programs are getting
and
the
we,
recognition, and the athletes are getting the recognition they deserve.
Let
and
me
we want to bring other schools on. I'm sorry, Miss Love, for interrupting, but we want to bring other schools on. We want to highlight NCA&T. We want to highlight FAMU. We want to highlight Campbell. You know what I mean? All these schools, but y'all got to help us do that, man. You know what I mean? Like we
Right.
can only do so much.
Hey, not just that. I want to link up with these other podcasts and do
Yeah,
some
for sure.
content together, like
Yeah.
Hey,
seriously. So,
yeah, for real.
y'all. I'm
because
telling you,
I,
for
I'm,
real.
I'm,
Just think about that. Yeah. Like I did an interview with his name is Mike Patton. That was yesterday. I had a busy week. Man, I don't even know where these people came from. And his show is actually an AFC South show, y'all. And them
mm,
people been blowing me up, and I was like, you really think about it, it makes sense to go into markets that don't normally talk about or cover your content because you're getting introduced to a new audience.
That's right.
right.
Exactly.
So if they want to do 15 minutes every other week on HBCUs, give them that. Don't shut them out.
Mm-hmm.
Go on there and talk good about your school and make people interested in what you're saying. That's how you do
Bingo. Man, you'll be surprised who want to support. You know what I mean? They just don't know enough about it,
don't know
or
how to.
they just don't know what to do. Exactly, dang. Like we all know the story about the dude who went to the Jackson State game. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
man gonna go back to a Jackson State game every year. I guarantee you that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because he found out how to go support, when did it, and now he gonna probably keep going back. You know what I mean? All we gotta do is keep doing that. You know what I mean? Just tell them how to get there. And they'll fall in
Mhm.
love once they get there.
That's
I
right.
guarantee it. I mean, they chasing the HBCU experience anyway, with the bands and the
Exactly.
tailgating and it.
Exactly.
That's a topic for another day. So, so before we close out, we know the NFL draft is.
Football. That's good.
Yeah. Hey, here we go. Hold up.
Put that on the screen. I like that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Exactly. Perfectly said.
Yeah.
I got you down south. Come find me on Twitter.
But as in closing, NFL draft is upon us. We all know, the P5 schools and the candidates and stuff. Who are some HBCU candidates that you're looking at that you think have a chance of getting drafted?
A Quill Glass, of course. James Houston. Those are my top two. Marquise Bell. Who else? That's another Jacoby Durant. It's Jackson State.
Mm-hmm. South Carolina State.
South Carolina State. My bad. Oh, my bad. And it's one Southern. Or it's two from Southern.
Jatari Carter.
Yeah, Jatari Carter, Jordan Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I agree with you on Marquise Bell though. I think him and Jatari Carter definitely. And there's a receiver from Jackson State too. I can't remember his name, but I know he had a lot of scouts at the pro day coming to watch him.
So
they got two. It's two over there. It's somebody who gets you.
You talking about cornerback? Deshaun Warren at Jackson State?
It's not here.
Let me go. Hold on. I'm finna go find that man's name.
Yeah. So, but look, Trey a little biased. He'll A&M man, so he gonna be a little biased on this one. But
don't make them draft still, so it don't even matter.
But Akil Glass, this brought, what I'm saying, y'all know I stay with a trivia question for y'all. So, who was the last? Matter of fact, it's a two-part. Who's the last HBCU quarterback drafted, and in what year?
Can we use Google?
No,
You
doing it anyway. But
I don't know if he was drafted though. I think he was undrafted. I know DJ Williams from Grant. He was undrafted. I think he was undrafted.
He was undrafted.
Man, it's tough.
Hey, in the comments, if you know, put it up there. Because I had to look. I looked it up once I saw Akil Glass name. I was trying to think who was the last.
Latavius Simmons.
That boy AD. That's a good guess. AD.
Tavares
Jackson. That's a good guess.
Tavares Jackson is correct.
Yeah,
supposed to be the next Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, T. Jack. 2006.
Yeah.
2006.
I know because I was finna say McNair, but I knew it was somebody.
Yeah, T. Jack. Second round in 2006, and then McNair was number 5 overall. But yeah, it's been a long time. Akil Glass. I know Ms. Love mentioned him, Trey mentioned him, and he was on my list as well. Just some stats for him. He was over his career 923 completions, over 1,582 attempts. His completion percentage is 58.3, but he threw for 12,136 yards. The caveat to that, he did it in 5 seasons. However, the COVID season, that spring, he only played 4 games. So technically, it averages out because he only played 9 games one year, 11, 12, 10, and 4. So 46 games total. He threw for 12,000 yards. I'm not going to mention his rushing It's not pretty.
Yeah. All right,
So,
so the receiver from Jackson State I mentioned, his name is Keith Corbin.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's also a receiver from Alcorn who we can't discount in the draft because he's been working out with some
Felix
Deshaun Watson and Felix Harper is his name, but he's been working out with Deshaun Watson and Tyrod Taylor going into the draft. So he got the right tutelage around him. So I'm gonna keep my eye on him to see if he can't sneak up on a roster.
one name that go ahead, Dan.
I would also say probably Jordan Lewis. He's probably like the baby Tyrann Mathieu of the SWAC.
Yeah.
195, pretty explosive, and he's always around the football. So
One name that is going to be familiar to especially a lot of our LSU people,
Alabama.
D. Anderson. He's at Alabama A&M. He started off at LSU, went to Oklahoma State, and then he finished his career out at Alabama A&M, where he had 12 touchdowns last year.
I could see him getting drafted late, just because of his frame.
His frame, lengthy.
You can't. Them 6'6" receivers don't grow on trees, man. Especially when they're athletic like that. So I could see a team taking kind of like Stephon Sullivan from LSU who got drafted just based off his size, pretty much.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got anything else we want to talk about, or we ready to wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I just want to mention old boy from FAMU who put his name in the NBA draft.
MJ Randolph.
MJ, yeah.
Hey, best wishes to you. He was the SWAC player of the year as well. So
yeah, so maybe he can pull a Miss Holiday and get drafted to the NBA side of it. You know what I mean? That'll definitely. If it ain't the first, it's got to be one of the few times that a WNBA and NBA draft both had HBCU player in it.
All right. Somebody eating their mic.
Sound like a dog drinking water.
All right. Well, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. We will be back with some more hot content from HBCUs, bringing it to you from all around the nation. But on that note, we are out.
Definitely.